welcome to the Lyman Wolf Podcast. I'm your host, Raceland. I'm joined by my co-host, Nate. What's going on, buddy?
Wow. Not much. Just finished watching some anime and watching some time travel movies and prepare for this podcast.
Any idea what we're talking about? Let's travel back in time to the beginning of the podcast. Great Scott!
Oh gosh. We are talking about time travel.
Yes, it is
questions.
a time travel discussions. That is what I'm going to call this today. And basically, I decided that it would be fun to. We both love time travel. Any type of time travel, movies, comic books, media, anything like that. So I figured it'd be time to just talk about it. So we're each going to make some questions up and ask each other what we do in the scenarios of each question, and then give us our answers based on what we do. What do you think about that?
Yep. Eagerly awaiting.
Yes, because there's nothing more we like to talk about than just nerdy crap like this, right?
Yes, and pointing out why we think the other is wrong.
Yes, because that is going to happen a lot, I feel like. It's going to be like, oh, you can't do that because of this.
We'll see.
So, do you want to start with your questions, or you want to start with... We'll go back. How about we go back and forth? How does that sound?
That sounds good to me.
Who wants to start?
You go ahead and start us off.
All right. I'm going to start off with the basic, everyday question everybody talks about with time travel. And this is my question. You have to time travel into the past, but you get stuck there. What time period do you want to go? You have all the knowledge you currently have.
90s.
Okay. Why the 90s?
Because while we do have a lot of social injustices even today, the 90s, like anything past the 90s, you're going to see a hell of a lot more, and you're going to get swept up into a lot worse shit going on.
So give me some examples of what you mean.
Well, pretty much any other one, you're going to probably get pulled into a war.
It's true. Well, I mean, the 70s and 80s didn't really have that many wars.
Well, I feel like there was some wars in the 70s and 80s, but either way, there was also a lack of technology.
It's true.
There was also the fact, I'm assuming we have like a way of identifying ourselves whenever we go back in time.
I mean, I didn't think about that. Are you talking about like having some kind of identity?
Yes.
I didn't think about that at all.
Yeah. Because if you go back in time and you don't have some form of identification, things are not going to be very easy for you.
Also, you think about this. You said the 90s, right?
Yes.
What happens if you meet your little child self?
Well, I know where I am in the 90s, so I can easily avoid that.
I know.
Well,
I just thought about it, because like if we're taking the whole you travel back in time and you're stuck there aspect, and you pick something that you're alive in, you have isn't the theory of time travel is that if you meet yourself in the past or future or whatever, it can like cause a rip in time.
One of the theories,
right?
Like the Back to the Future version.
Or they just pass out and wake up later.
The further you go back in time, the more likely you will affect your future self as well. Like, I can tell you right now, I do not know my entire family for generations. So I could easily accidentally meet one of my family members in the past, something could go wrong, and then I just never get born.
So here's how I like to look at time travel. I know this is probably not the most popular way, but I like to look at time travel is kind of like Dragon Ball Z style. As in, you are stuck in a timeline. You go back in time, you're going back to a different timeline. Anything you affect in that timeline does not affect your own timeline. So kind of like how Trunks went back in time to stop the androids from killing Goku, did not solve the android problem in his future.
Yeah.
That's the way I like time travel, because in my brain, that means I don't have to ruin me not meeting my wife and not having my children and stuff. That's the way I look at it. So it's like,
I mean,
I've always wished
creating a timeline where that's a possibility, though.
True, but I can go back to my timeline and not have to worry about that guy. So if I want to go back to past,
because the whole question is we're stuck in the past.
I'm talking about in my own head for not getting stuck in the past. I'm talking about when I think about time travel.
Okay. I'm talking about the posed question.
Right.
So
Sorry, I just went on a little tangent.
with the posed question and your theory, you're creating a timeline where it is possible that you do not meet Caitlyn.
It's true.
So yeah, the I would want to try to negate that to the most ways that I could.
Is there
So
anything
the 90s,
specifically in the 90s that makes you want to go to the 90s? Like, besides obviously like technology and stuff, is there anything particular about the 90s?
I mean, I can't really think. I love the '90s like aesthetic. I miss a lot of the stuff from the '90s period.
It's true.
But also like aesthetic wise, I could go pretty much anywhere from Victorian era to today. Like I love a lot of styles from a lot of different eras.
So you're talking about clothing styles and stuff.
Clothing styles, architecture, vehicle style, stuff like that. Just overall look and feel of a society.
That's a. I feel like that was a very cop out answer. I don't mean to be a dick, but like the 90s is such an easy answer for millennials to say.
I mean, yeah, but again, like I said, time travel to further or like being, especially being stuck in a specific era, that's not good.
No.
Like,
Well, think about
there's-
this. You go back to the 90s. Are you talking like, I'm guessing early 90s, like 92, 93 kind of thing?
yeah, I'm talking like go back to 1990
Okay.
and then go from there.
So you are 31, right? 31, 32, something like that?
I am 33.
33. So imagine you go back and
1990 year I
you
was
go
born.
back 30 years from now.
Yes.
And then that means when we get to this time period in 2023, almost 2024, you'll be in your 60s at that
I'll be
point.
63. Yes.
Isn't that fun?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I don't care. So yeah, I would go back in time to the 90s, for very basic reasons because anything past the 90s, you're possibly introduced because also disease is a very real thing, and
true.
you could be a carrier for something that the past just isn't prepared for.
Should go back to Victorian England and give them all like leprosy or something.
COVID. Like you're a holder of COVID, and you go back and just
You go back to
introduce COVID,
Victorian
and everyone's
England, and
like-
all of a sudden everybody's wearing masks, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, come back and everyone is just part bio, where they have to wear helmets and everything.
Well, we don't come back.
Okay, we grow old and watch as society becomes like massive germaphobes and human contact is completely illegal.
So
We don't know why, but this disease spread, and we didn't have the fertility or the facilities to save anybody at all.
some guy in a shirt wearing the logo Adidas came into our lives, and
Let's hit Teenage Mutant Turtles.
I was just thinking, like, what is like a very popular brand that you go back in time, kind of like Marty McFly. You're wearing like
Yeah.
a Nike shoes and Adidas, and you go
Calvin
back to
Klein.
Victorian England, and you're just like, the traveler from wearing the Nike and Adidas
Yeah.
came in and
They-
spread COVID.
That would be, yeah, like from a pure just necessity needs, you can't go further than at least I would say probably the 60s.
Well, that kind of, I was giving you crap about picking the 90s, and that's such a basic bitch answer for millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was the early 2000s.
You Okay, so why?
All right, so complete different reasons than you. I was thinking for me. So early 2000s, from what I remember as a child, peak gaming, in my opinion. You got all the GameCube stuff was out, all the PS2 stuff was out. I could go back to when it was first being released and play them all as an adult. It'd be so fun. I'd still have internet because early 2000s is crappy internet, but it's internet. It's still there. The movies from the early 2000s are great. Think about like all the Shreks and all those other type of like early Disney movies we had from the 2000s. The economy, from what I understand, Wasn't that bad in the early 2000s. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. And had lots of music I loved growing up from that era. So I could go see a bunch of bands that I love still touring on tours. Like Linkin Park is still... Chester Bennington's still alive from Linkin Park. And I could go see Limp Bizkit in their prime. And all those type of like new era bands. New metal. All those new metal bands. Disturbed and all that was just starting out. All those bands I grew up playing or loving... I could go see them in concert.
Aren't those called dad metal now?
Shut up, man. Don't ruin this for me.
Just saying.
It is called Dad. Limp Bizkit has a full album called Dad Vibe.
Nice.
But yeah, I was just thinking of entertainment-wise, going back to the early 2000s would be really awesome.
I mean, that is a good one. And I get those benefits too, actually. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get roasted in the comments for this. I'm a millennial that doesn't really like 90s music at all. Like,
I mean, I didn't really care about music when I was
I know,
younger,
but
so I didn't
it's just
really
like
even know what was around back
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana. Alice in Chains was great, but like all those like grunge bands that everybody loves, not for me, man.
I know I was called grunge because of the way I dressed.
I just can't. Dude, you wear like you wear flannel and stuff. I can't picture you being grunge.
That's what grunge looked like. Open shirt.
I guess
plaid shirts.
That's true. That's true.
Long. My hair never grows out to like shoulder length, but when it gets long, it just kind of looks shaggy.
Like zoinks.
Yeah. I always wore kind of jeans that had some holes in them simply from wear and tear, not me doing anything other than just wearing them. So yeah, like I was called grunge, but I never really got into grunge music because I wasn't really into music back then. So it was just always kind of weird. I had to ask my friends what grunge even meant. I'm like, what? Why does he call him? And they're like, Nate, it's okay, buddy.
You're fine.
Yeah.
All right. So what is your question? What's your first question?
All right. So my first question is, out of all fictional characters, who would you pick to be your time traveling companion?
So I can pick anybody from any comics, media, video games, anything like that.
Yep.
Jesus, what a...
As long as it's a fictional character, not a satire of a real person.
So I can't be like, I pick Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Man, what a loaded question. I can't
be like, I want George Washington from the American movie. No.
Dude, what a loaded fucking question, Nate.
Oh, this one I thought really hard about because I wanted someone who covered very specific bases.
You'd be so funny. You picked Deadpool.
I mean, that
he's like breaking every fourth wall possible.
On one hand, yes, that would be cool and funny. On the other, like again, if you go back to a certain age, you're going to be like traveling with someone who looks like they have leprosy and be
not only that, but he would just cause so much mayhem and mischief.
Yeah,
I don't want that, honestly.
He would disrupt the time stream so much
for giggles.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a fucking question, Nate.
So I'll tell you my answer real quick.
All right, let's hear yours.
So my answer is Martian Manhunter.
Oh my god.
Well, hold on.
Oh, I can shapeshift into anybody and blend into society.
Exactly. He is someone... No, there is a reason I picked him.
So dumb.
Martian Manhunter, when he came to Earth, he read the minds of everybody around him just to get an idea of what society was like, and then blended into society.
Oh, dude, I know who I'm picking.
That is the perfect companion for a time-traveling companion, because no matter what era you go to, he can read the minds, he can tell you the lay of the land, he can tell you the currency, he can tell you pretty much everything about the current society, and then he can also shapeshift into anybody he needs to be, including clothes, to help you fit in as well until you get your own set.
Dude, if we're gonna stick with superheroes, what about Domino with all her luck powers. Just stand around Domino all the time and just be so lucky at anything you do.
The only issue I would go against that is Domino doesn't seem to really have control of her luck powers.
It's true.
It is, if anything benefits her, it happens. Which means if someone's harassing her, they could possibly die, and that could really fuck up the future.
Just pick Scarlet Witch and just have her just redo anything that you want. Rewrite her reality anytime you need.
Yeah, which, like, on one hand, awesome. On the other, like,
I also don't like Scarlet Witch because she's a bitch, so I probably would not pick her.
I like Scarlet Witch, especially MCU Scarlet Witch, but
we're talking. We're going away from. You said anything in any media.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm thinking of all the animes I like, and trying to think of like if there be anybody from there.
That's what I originally like when I first started that question. I was like, okay, what anime character do I want? And I kept picking characters that, well, while they're cool, they would not fit in any era outside of like. No, they wouldn't fit into any era at all, because of their just attitude towards everything. So I'm like, I can't really pick them.
Hold on, I'm looking something up because I'm thinking of like a really good idea.
Yeah, I almost picked Booster Gold for fun, but then I'm like, but he would just be so effing useless in any era outside of modern era.
You know who I think I might go with?
Hmm.
I'm gonna pick a Pokemon to be my partner to go with me and travel, and I pick one of the reality warping Pokemon. So I can pick like Arceus or something.
So you're picking a fictional animal that can be proven to be fictional animal.
I don't know.
That would be groundbreaking in science and
Hell
introducing
yeah.
it to the past.
Hell yeah. I don't know. Dude, what? It's such a hard question. I can't think of anybody off the fly that would like be the perfect answer.
Well, like anything that doesn't disrupt the past is what I was thinking. Instead, you're like, I'm gonna pick a creature that would just blow the minds out of everybody and possibly get me called a demon.
Oh, I know who I'm picking. Oh, easy. Oh my god, so stupid and easy. The Doctor.
Yeah, see, that's who I figured you would have picked.
I didn't even. It just came to my mind. The Doctor. Yeah. I picked the Doctor, who is a freaking god of time travel, basically.
Yeah, he is he was the inspiration for this because
David Tennant Doctor, easy, done.
Okay, so you're picking the Doctor.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're wanting also the whole like shebang of TARDIS, sonic screwdriver, all that.
Well, this kind of leads into my next question.
Okay, all right. Well, what's your next question then?
You have to pick how you would time travel.
Right.
No. You have three options. You have three options.
Okay.
I'm only giving you an option to three because I know you will find some workaround. So these are your three options. A, you get a vehicle of to a certain speed, but it has a very, very high speed. So careful when you try to drive it, aka Back to the Future.
Yeah.
B, you get stuck. You get sucked into a body of water, but it sucks you up in a whirlpool. I'm sure it'll make you wet and very dizzy, aka Hot Tub Time Machine. Or C, you have to jump off of a tall height, usually atop of a building or something, to get enough speed to teleport into the time stream, aka Men in Black 3. Those are your three options.
Okay. I guess I will go with... Okay, so for the body of water one, does it have to be a specific one? Because in
what do you mean, like
a specific? It had to be that hot tub.
Let's say that you have to be in a large body of water, but it can't be in the ocean. So it has to be in. It has to. So I tried to make each one question have some kind of hazard to go with it, so it's hard to pick. I don't know if I did a good job, but in my head it was like if you pick a body of water, it would be like, be careful when you try to summon the whirlpool to take you into the time stream, because it can suck other people up and stuff, because it's a large whirlpool.
Yeah. Does it, so it can be any body of water, it just has to be large enough.
Yep,
Does
but it can't be too
trigger
large.
whenever you're in the water, or do you pick when it triggers?
Because in the movie, it they didn't choose.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So every one of these, you get to pick, because the vehicle one, you get to choose the car. The building, you get to choose. I would say you get to choose.
Okay. Then I'm going with the body of water. Because it is the best way.
Okay, so how are you gonna? What happens if there's people around you and you're like, I need to get in the time stream right now?
I mean, then I will just keep going to. I will. First off, no matter where I go, I am going to find a body of water or make a body of water that is specifically like, this is my time traveling pool of water. And I will have various locations throughout wherever I am to make sure I have access to a body of water that is large enough for my ability to activate.
Okay,
Whereas
that's a good answer.
the vehicle one, like if the DeLorean, for example, kind of an odd looking carriage in certain time periods.
It's true.
Having to update it if I go to the future, which could cost some money. And the height one, I mean, if you go far enough into the past, you better find yourself a cliff, because
I make it work.
buildings were not made to be a specific height until later on. So yeah, the water one is the easily most accessible, the one that is the least least suspicious, because it's a body of water, and it is the, I guess, less flashy, because in the jumping off of a high place, you're, in some people's point of view, if you jump off of a high place, then you will be appearing wherever in that spot. So if there are people around you, they now just see you just appear out of nowhere.
You could have a parachute on or something.
But if you use a parachute in the past, when they didn't have parachutes, they're just going to think you're some kind of demigod from flying from the sky.
Perfect.
Like,
they'll worship you.
No, that's not good. You're creating a religion, and most religions lead to war.
Yes, this is the flying cloth religion.
Yeah, no, they'd be like, oh, you would land, and you'd be like, hey, where am I? And they'd be like, oh, it is our God. Where am I? Like, no, 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 please, don't start that. We must start this. He has spoken. I had specifically said no.
I don't know these words.
Yeah, like, unless you have a universal translator, it's not going to work out for you in that regard.
All right, so
Same
body
with
of water is
vehicles.
the safest pick, I guess.
Yes, it is the safest and most efficient, because you don't have to pick up speed. You don't have to climb all the way up to a really high building. You literally just jump in some water.
Okay, good pick. Good pick, Nate.
Thank you very much. What do you pick?
Oh, what I pick? I mean,
Anything. Now I'm just gonna immediately be like, if you don't pick water, then you're wrong. Like,
yeah. I mean, your argument kind of made it where water's the obvious answer.
all right, so water is what you're picking too, then.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is actually along the same lines, except more open-ended.
Okay.
What would be your time-traveling device?
Okay.
So, like, the Doctor has the TARDIS.
The TARDIS is fun, but it's the same problem that you said with the DeLorean. It's like, you can't really hide a phone booth anywhere.
I mean,
Or a police box, I mean.
it's true, but
What if you
also
Bill and
the
Ted-
TARDIS, or
Bill
the
and Ted
Doctor
it?
doesn't care. Like, Bill and Ted and the Doctor don't care about, like, ancient civilizations.
Bro, it's
questioning
so
their-
great.
Yeah. You've also got, like, all the... So, my pick is a pocket watch.
Oh, I know what I'm picking.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to pick a ring. It's a ring,
Ring?
that has that you point, kind of like, think of like Green Lantern's ring, where he can use it to create energy from. It creates a portal, and that he can
Okay.
kind of walk through the portal. like a time portal.
So I'm going to combine your answer and mine now, because I do like the idea of that, but I don't like the idea of creating a portal.
I like the idea of a portal, but that way I can bring people in if I want to bring people in.
Yeah. So the reason I don't like that idea is because if I create a portal, then it leaves the option of someone accidentally getting pulled into that portal. Again, Bill and Ted, Napoleon.
Hey, that is the negative side of time travel, bro. There's always consequences and there's always accidents.
But there is ways to limit those accidents.
Fine.
If you'd only take the downsides of not having the advantage of that.
Nate, you always have to have a downside of everything in order for it to be fun, okay?
I don't agree with that. So
where's your sense of adventure, Nate?
My pocket watch has now become a ring, like yours, but the ring will be a specific, like, a combination lock dial kind of thing where you can pick the date, time, year, everything like that. And then whenever you do it, it will teleport you. Like, it will give you an idea of where you're going or what time you're going and give you a view of what's around you so you don't just appear where a car will hit you or something. So, yeah, that's what I'm picking. A ring with... Way
to rip off my idea, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm combining our ideas. I'm taking our ideas and making them better.
Yeah, copycat, but that's cool, I guess.
That's not a copycat. You literally created a portal. I'm creating a vision so we don't die.
Mine's cooler. Mine is visually cooler. It translates better into a movie.
Is it like... It's sliders, basically.
I just picture, like, Kingdom Hearts style, where they create the portal of darkness, and it's just like, and then you go right in.
Of course, it's Kingdom Hearts that inspired this.
Fucking course it is, Nate.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna pick a Pocket Watch.
No, you didn't. You said ring.
No, a Pocket Watch ring kind of thing. Like it's a ring with the face of a Pocket Watch, and you can pick the dates and all that stuff.
Way to be an old man.
I mean, I'm trying to be incognito when I'm going through traveling.
I'm pretty incognito, okay?
You're literally walking through a portal that's visually cooler for people to see.
That's not my fault that they're gonna think I'm a god.
That is exactly your fault. You get to pick this. You're picking to become some.
I could portal it onto the ground and just jump in. Okay.
I can already see time. Like it's like the Loki season 1 where he like kills the He Who Remains, and then he goes back and just sees Kang, the statue of Kang. Like, that's
spoilers for the 2-year-old TV show, bro.
Yeah, spoilers for an old show. You are going through time, and when you come back through your adventures, you're just going to see statues of yourself, and that's not good. You should not be a leader of any sort of that.
I'm John Connor, okay?
No.
Alright, so my next question is another multiple choice. I like multiple choices because we get to discuss it.
Yeah.
You are sent to the future. Turns out it's a dystopian future. What would be the worst you've seen from the cliche dystopian futures, and what would be livable for you? Either AI took over, the nuclear war fallout, there's been an alien invasion, or life has just been a simulation.
And what I'm picking the worst?
So what's the worst, and how would you make it livable?
I guess what was the last one?
So AI took over, nuclear war fallout, alien invasion, and life has just been a simulation.
The worst one I would probably be nuclear fallout.
Okay. And how would you make it livable?
I mean, if we're going off of Fallout rules, I guess I would become a ghoul.
No. We're talking real world shit. This is Nate being plucked into the future, nuclear fallout everywhere.
I mean, you did introduce like alien takeover and AI and
Yeah, but those are all plausible things that could technically happen. Aliens have never been proven not to exist, and AI is already moving in that direction.
I guess, but also,
and then of course the life has been a simulation thing I took from the Matrix.
Yes, a very realistic depiction.
Hey, there are conspiracy theorists out there that think that we are in a fucking Matrix. Okay.
There are people who think the Earth is flat too.
I know. I'm just going with I even said in my question, what would be the worst from the cliche dystopian futures?
Yes, and one of the most cliches is Fallout, a nuclear wasteland.
So how are you making it livable? You haven't answered that part of the question.
I did. I was answering, and you said, no, make it believable. I'm sorry. If I was going off of the source material.
At least with an alien invasion, you can probably find some like alien tech and fight back. I don't know, maybe.
I mean, with alien invasion, but exactly like alien invasion, I see upsides to.
I see it as
all
like
of the other three are not. I would not consider the worst.
Okay.
You said I should pick the worst.
So nuclear war is the worst, right?
Yes, nuclear war would be the worst.
Do you survive in that world now? I mean, people can survive it, I guess, technically.
Yeah, I guess I like go up, become a mountain man. I know enough to survive in the wilds. So,
go where the nuclear wars, like the nuclear fallout, hasn't gotten to.
Yeah, like just have to go high enough in the mountains and become having to live in a freaking cold environment on a barren wasteland world.
Oh, that's a funny answer, Nate.
So what do you pick?
The worst one? I don't know, man. I guess nuclear fallout would be probably the worst one. Yeah, although, I don't know, man. Because AI took over is pretty bad if you like going in the direction of like Terminator style.
Yeah, if you go to Terminator, but you said you picked it from the Matrix style.
No, then that was the life has been a simulation.
Simulation is the Matrix one?
Yeah. Okay. AI took over. I'm thinking more like robots uprising and take over humanity and enslave us kind of thing.
Yeah, but then you also have...
Sounds pretty bad.
I mean, it's bad, but it's also the possibility that robots don't give a fuck.
Also, nuclear war, yeah, again, terrible. But we've literally created bunkers for this. Like, we've prepared for somewhat of this.
I mean, we've prepared for some of society to do this. There's no guarantee you're going to be in that bunker.
True, but if you take AI, say you pick AI took over, technology's everywhere. Everywhere, in everything.
Even if you do go into that bunker, you have now just killed the majority of the surface of Earth.
Yeah, but I said, how would you survive?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like civilization. I'm talking about plants. I'm talking about animals. I'm talking about you have made it so much worse that surviving is so much harder.
I get where you're coming from.
AI and simulation, you have the possibility of escaping and surviving pretty easily if you know how to survive.
I'm picking AI, Nate. I think personally that's the worst because I'm looking at it from the Terminator type of movies. They're just going to kill everything they see and enslave humans for batteries.
I don't disagree, but I also think that your interpretation of the worst is definitely not mine. Mine is...
I also look at it from Nate. Think about AI takes over all of technology, right? That's kind of what happens in, for the most part, most AI invasion type of movies. They take over basically everything technology based.
Yes.
2024, 95% of the world is all technology now. They can get into anything we have technology based. Everything. You try to go escape, guess what? They can track you through the billions of cameras that are in the world. You try to go hide somewhere. They can hack into literally every lock that's all electronic based now.
There is off the grid living.
There is, and that's how I would live. That's the livability part of it. But I'm talking about we are so relied on technology now that there's almost so little chance to hide anywhere.
And that's what I'm saying.
If they're exterminating all humans, the first thing they're going to do is hack into the satellites and see all the humans on the planet.
I can't see. You're saying the worst possible outcome for AI taking over, but it's against purely humanity. I'm saying the worst possible outcome for a post-apocalyptic thing is for the entire world, not just humanity.
I get where you're coming from.
Gone.
I'm sticking with my answer, Nate.
Okay. Just don't really think it's the worst one.
That's your opinion. It's the worst for me. That's the question.
How is that the worst?
I've already explained it, Nate.
You didn't. You just said technology's everything. That's all you explained.
Move on to the next question, Nate.
That is not the worst.
Move on to the next question, Nate.
All right. What is something you would change in your life specifically if you had access to time travel?
Oh, cool. So it's my next question. You can go back in time and change one event. What would you pick? That's my literal next question.
It doesn't have to be an event. It can be anything. Like, for me, it would be going back in time to 2014 and investing in Microsoft.
Okay.
Like,
so you're going money-wise.
No specific event. It would just, I would then go and make some money.
So if I pick something, would it be like something I could change the future?
You would have to take an account of like your age, your life, and everything. So like, if you were to go back in time and try to prevent the Twin Tower disaster, probably not going to happen if by yourself, and most people are probably going to think you're insane.
I'm thinking more along the lines of like the question you asked is something that happened in your life you could change and fix it, basically, right?
Yes, but you have to be able to change it.
So if I say I experienced some trauma in my past, and I go back and I try to prevent that trauma from happening, but in terms it could also erase me meeting my children or meeting my wife and having children and stuff, that could be a possibility, correct?
Yes.
Oh man, because there's some stuff in my past that I wish I could fix, but some of that trauma did like make it where I met my wife. So it's like I don't really want to go down that route.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
You have to take into account of the consequences of your newfound actions.
Man, it's like
I look
at it as like
14.
I look at it as like if I go back in time and prevent this trauma from happening, I would be I don't know, because like I've discussed this with my grandma before because she's had some trauma in her life, and she said that her trauma made her a stronger person in the future.
Yes.
So I'm like, if I erase the trauma, do I just become this like selfish little dickwad in the future?
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be a dickwad, but you will be a completely different person. If it's something that altered your personality and
100%
is a foundation of who you are, then it's going to change you.
Yeah.
You will no longer be you.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I guess I'd just go the same route you did. Then I would just pick like when did Bitcoin become a thing? When was that? When did that start?
I have no clue.
Wasn't it like 20? Was it like 2019? That was like 2019. That's when Bitcoin became a big thing, right?
I have no clue.
All right. So what I would do, I want to say it was like 2018, 2019, something like that. That's when Bitcoin became real big. I don't know a single damn thing about Bitcoin. First thing I would do is find somebody I trust who knows about Bitcoin, go back in time, I'd learn everything I know about Bitcoin, go back in time, invest when they were like a penny, and then now, like, if I go into the future, they're like billions of dollars, I'd do that.
Who do you trust?
I don't know. I'd find someone that knows about Bitcoin.
And then ingratiate yourself into their life, so
Ty.
just specifically for this.
I'm going to ask Ty.
Ty? I don't think he knows much about Bitcoin.
No, he probably doesn't. I feel like Bitcoin's a very foreign thing to all three of us.
Well, I think he actually dislikes Bitcoin.
Probably.
So, yeah, I went with Microsoft 2014 because I'll be 24 years old, so I'll be old enough to be able to actually invest something. I
True.
won't have to like ask somebody else. I know Microsoft.
Real quick. You're going back to 24. You're 24 years old. Do you even have money to invest into Microsoft?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know. At 24, I didn't have any money. I was just having a kid at that time.
24, I had a pretty nice amount of money in the bank until I lent it to someone.
24 is when my first child was born, so I had zeros and zeros of dollars.
2014. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when a year later, but yeah.
So yeah, I had it. Plus, it wouldn't have to be a lot of money to invest. Like you could put in $100 and then just slowly build up that $100 as you go.
So in this scenario, are you going back in time, investing, and then reappearing back in the current time?
No. So what I'm doing is I'm going back in time, investing, then going like forward a year later, investing some more.
So are you going back in time into your past body and investing, or are you just going as 33-year-old Nate and investing?
No, I'm going back to my past body.
Okay, I wasn't very sure. So you're going back to your 24-year-old body saying, hey, I'm taking over, and I'm going to invest in Microsoft.
Yes.
Okay. Then I will do the same, but probably with, like, I guess Microsoft is the best option, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually did research for this question, and Microsoft, from like of the companies that I know, that is the company that I would want to invest in the most.
See, I would say Apple because they're also massive, but which a bigger company, Apple or Microsoft?
I think Apple would have been earlier than 2014.
No, Apple was 2000. I know the very first iPhone was 2007.
I meant to invest.
I know. Like, because Apple started in didn't Apple start in like the 80s?
I honestly have no clue. I'm going off of I did research on when was the best time to invest in specific companies.
Oh yeah, and the question was back in your personal life. So it's like I can't go back into the time where I didn't exist either.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
so
that's true.
I go back any further than 2014, I won't have the money to do that.
That's true.
I would have to be like, hey mom, dad, crazy idea, but
Nate, shut up. Go your money. Go to your room, Nate. Shut up.
I mean, my parents actually probably would listen to me. My whole life, we've always been a very inclusive family on decisions for like money and stuff like that. So they probably would listen to me, but I know most people probably wouldn't have that experience.
Man, I don't know. My original thought was Bitcoin because it's like it's an easy win. But I don't know anything about Bitcoin. So.
Yeah. I at least know a little bit about Microsoft.
But in my head, it's like you said, go back in time to some point in your life where you chose a point in your life where you had money. I've never had an abundance of money before in my life.
Well, like I said,
if I go back to where Bitcoin was a penny and now it's millions of dollars, that's the easy answer.
Yeah. The reason, what I would say is, even if you had $100 or even $20, the reason I'm going the route of I'm going back to this time, investing some, going into a future, or going in a year in the future, investing more, because I'm slowly building it up.
You know what? I just thought of something. I know what I'm picking. 100% know what I'm picking.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with money.
Okay.
Our friend Jared, remember him from where we used to work?
Yeah.
Go back in time and try to convince him to not go down his path and save his life.
Okay.
That's what I would pick.
That's a noble pick.
I think that would be what I'd pick.
I wish you the best of luck.
I know. It'd be really tough.
Yeah. Jared was like that way before we even met him.
I know. But in my head, I wish I could just do something to prevent the tragedy that happened losing him.
Yeah, I know. I would say your best bet with that would probably be making sure he gets the help he needs after he gets out of war.
Well, you said it has to be during my timeline, but I go with all the knowledge I have, correct?
Yes.
So I can talk to his family now, find out what time period when he was like.
You knew his family?
I'm saying I could find out his family now, and then talk to them about him, and then time travel back to a point where I was at least like, say I was like 18 years old. At least I'm an adult, and I could talk to him.
From what I understand of his family, do not talk to his sister.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And he was pretty sketchy on some of his other family members.
I don't know. I was just trying to think. I was just trying to think of the best option. Okay.
Yeah, I get it, and I appreciate that idea. Just for you specifically, be very careful, because if you don't succeed, you are going to blame yourself so hard, and I wouldn't want that for you.
That's true. But yeah, I don't care. I think I would go with that route.
Okay. Well, I would try to help you as best I could, buddy.
Well, you'll be my companion for our time travel experience.
Yeah, that'll be our time travel adventure together.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll move on to my question, since our questions are basically the exact same.
Apparently, yeah.
You can go back in time and tell your past self one thing. What would it be? It can pick any time period you want, as long as you're speaking to your past self, and you can only say like one phrase or sentence or something.
One phrase or sentence.
So basically, like, you go back, you tell them, "Hey, this is what you should do," or you could say, give them some advice or something.
All right, I would give my past self a name and tell them to look that person up.
Oh, I know what route you're going.
And try to prevent years of not getting anywhere.
So, what age you think you'd be going back in time to? What time period?
Oh, I would be going back to like 2010.
Sorry,
because
it's ironic you picked that date.
Well, the reason I picked that date is because that was the start of it. So I wouldn't be as blinded by a certain type of devotion. Because back then I was very pig-headed. So even if like my future self were to come to me in like 20 years ago, I'd be like, but, or not 20 years ago, like 14 years ago, I'd be like, but do I really? Maybe not. Like, I want to give her a benefit of the doubt kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
You're
being very like secretive, because obviously it's a personal thing to you, but people on our podcast aren't gonna know what you're talking about.
No, but also the people that do know about it are probably the ones who would be listening to this podcast.
That's true.
So yeah, I would try to not prevent the meeting, because I do value the friendship, but also prevent my own feelings from progressing to a certain point.
That makes sense. So for me, it's kind of ironic you said 2010, because I would pick 2010 as well, because 2010 was right before my trauma happened, like the year before my trauma happened.
Okay.
And I would tell my past self, don't let what others think about you affect you so much, and be who you want to be. And the reason why I say that is because I used to only care about others, people, like what they thought of me and who I was. I didn't realize this until my senior year of high school, that I needed to be my own person. And if I would have been a little stronger and been more like care what I thought about myself, my trauma wouldn't have hit me as hard as it did, I don't think.
Okay. I mean, if it's the trauma I'm thinking of, I think it might have still hit you pretty hard.
It would have, but it would have been easier.
Yeah.
Because back then I cared more about what other people thought of me, and I just kind of let people push me around, and just kind of was like, okay, whatever, do whatever. It wasn't until right before the trauma happened I kind of opened my eyes to not care what others think.
I like how we're both being very vague.
Well, again, I don't want to open my trauma up on this podcast. I'm sorry.
I understand. Mine was vague for that specific reason, too.
Part of my trauma includes people that might listen.
Yeah. So I can't even imagine caring what other people think of me. Like, man.
Shut up, Nate. Okay? You didn't grow up like I did. Shut up.
Right? I didn't. I gave no F's whatsoever. What people thought of me.
And I was in all of my life. I was basically in high school, all school. I was just kind of pushover, just like, oh yeah, people can push me around. I don't care as long as I don't get involved, kind of thing. And then I just kind of opened my eyes. I was like, no, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna let that happen no more.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. So what if they thought I was the creepy kid who might
shoot up the school?
Yeah, I didn't care.
Nah, that's
Leave
fine.
me alone with my books.
All right, so you got one more question left?
Let's see. I could probably think of one.
Oh, because I only got one question left. That's why I was asking.
All right, go ahead and ask your question, and I will think of one to ask after.
So my final question is, if you went back in time and they asked you to teach them something from your time period, what would you teach them and how?
Oh, medieval times, blacksmithing.
No. You're teaching the people from the past something about this time period.
Oh, I have no clue. Like
that's why I asked it.
I can't even see myself as capable to teach anybody anything. Like,
so that's the question, Nate.
that's a rough one.
It is rough. I don't even have an answer for myself. I just wanted to see your opinion first.
Yeah, because I don't really...
You go to the past and like, what is the year 2023 like? I've heard stories of the future of what it could be. Explain to us, traveler. What is it like in 2023? Teach us.
In the world. We're going backwards.
So you have to teach them something. What are you teaching them?
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna teach.
Okay.
I'm specifically going to like a bunch of movie studios and stuff. I don't know how I'm getting access.
I know where you're going.
But I'm going to teach them what not to do. Like,
don't make a bunch of remakes and sequels and just superheroes nonstop.
Not necessarily. More along the lines of don't get swept up in the fads.
Okay, all right, I get you.
Yeah, because a lot of studios, I mean, it's been that way for a long time anyway, but a lot of studios just, this studio's making this type of movie. We need to hurry up and make our own movie like that.
DC Universe.
Yeah, DC. Oh, man.
DC could have been so great if they wouldn't have just tried to compete with Marvel.
I would actually give them the opposite advice. I'd be like, DC, what you need to do is dedicate some movies to your characters, flesh them out before you combine them. Because what DC did is just like, oh no, they've made a Marvel's Avengers movie. Here's
the Justice League
movie. Yeah, like no, they did Marvel's character movies.
They spent 10 years building this up, guys.
Yeah, DC, you can do it. I believe in you.
No, here's the Justice League. We don't have any background on anything.
Yeah, just don't jump the gun on this. Let's see here. There's like several shows I'd be like, I would give them the whole basic script of their own show and be like, this is gonna make you so much money. This is the script you want. Nate, but then I would change a detail that I don't like in this show.
You need to go back to the director of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel and be like, guys, make a proper ending. Don't leave off this whole Angel, they're going to fight evil, it ends. No, we're not doing that crap.
Everybody charges towards the horde of demons in an alley.
And then it just blinks out, and that's it. And I'm like, no, you need a proper ending.
I guess, is that considered teaching?
No, not really.
No.
That's just you taking knowledge and just being like, fix this. I want you to teach something. Like, say you go back to somewhere, like, say it's like, I don't know, the 50s. And they're like, whoa, you're from 75 years into the future? That's crazy. Can you teach us something that we can learn about your time period?
Okay. So, Well, no, I wouldn't be able to teach them anything about our time period. I don't even really know much about our time period. But what I would do is I would go back in time to before, like, I'm talking like the Cowboys Wild West kind of time.
Of course it is.
I would then teach teachers multiplication using the lattice technique.
Okay, why?
Which is the technique that I use, and no one else does.
You're going back. Okay, hold on. You're going back to the time period of Cowboys and Indians, or however you want to say it, and stuff.
Wild West.
The Wild West, yeah. And you're gonna teach them multiplication when you could be teaching them medicine and
I can't teach them medicine. I know shit about medicine.
I'm just saying, you have so many options,
medicine,
and you're gonna say math.
I would probably kill them. I'd be like, yeah, this drug right here, this is gonna be great.
Or
like,
you can at least teach them about basic medicine instead of being like, oh, his leg has a scratch on it. Better shoot it.
What? Shoot it?
I don't know. he's got the flu.
Amputate.
You better just kill him now.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could teach them how to clean things.
Here, this is called penicillin.
I can't teach them penicillin. All I know about penicillin is it was founded from mold. I don't know the process.
Do you know that because of the show Sliders? Do you know that because of the show Sliders?
I think so, actually. Yeah, maybe.
Yes, because that's a whole episode. They go back in time and teach them from mold from trash.
Yeah. So yeah, like that is all I know. I don't know the process of how to turn mold into penicillin.
You can Google it.
I can't. I'm in the Wild West.
I think it's so funny. You're like, I'm gonna teach them math. They're gonna shoot you immediately, Nate.
I have to teach them something I know. I know the lattice technique, and that is a technique no one else uses.
They're gonna be like, Nate, teach us something from your time period. And you'll be like, all right, so these animes, right? These are really cool. You need to check these out when you get time.
But that's not teaching. That's just me being like, hey, yo, you need to check this. Like, that's not teaching.
That's true. All right, so math. You're gonna teach them multiplication to a bunch of cowboys. Gotcha.
I guess I'll teach them like basic hygiene techniques.
That would be great. This is how you brush your teeth, guys.
Yeah, like, well, like you said, like the whole getting shot thing. Maybe not amputate the leg.
He got shot in the foot. Better chop the whole damn thing off.
Dress it, clean it, like all that.
It's just like it blew my mind that you were like gonna go back to the Wild West to teach them math.
What I teach them is like dress and clean the wound. That's about it.
Go back to the caveman era and be like, fire's not that bad, guys. Check it out. Whoa!
Fire.
What?
I'm the inventor of fire.
You teach them how to use flint.
I could teach them how to make a wheel.
I mean, you're kind of jumping the gun on evolution, though.
That's fine. Just imagine how much progress we would have made if we had just a couple hundred more years.
Or, you want to go political-wise, go back to whenever wars were happening and teach them about peace and love.
They already knew about peace and love.
That's true.
They ignored it.
That's true.
Because of greed.
Nah!
Man. Yeah, like, this is the question you want to ask someone just to make them feel like, oh, I know shit. Like, I'm absolutely garbage to society.
What if you contributed?
I bring absolutely nothing to the table of mankind. That's great.
I mean, you could teach them how to play Fortnite.
No, I can't. I don't have a game computer to take.
Bring your laptop with you. Check this out, guys.
It would require internet, and it would require a server. It would require multiple players.
Nah, you can make those cavemen start being streamers.
There's no electricity. It's like, what power of Superman's would you want? You can't just pick one, because if you pick one, it's going to kill you.
Pick the power of flight. Can you get back down?
Yeah, I picked the power of flight. Oh, so you have super lungs. You can breathe at high speeds. Ah, fuck.
So yeah, that was my final question, Nate. I wanted you to think how terrible you were.
What'd you pick?
I didn't pick anything. I picked nothing.
What? You can't just say no.
I would teach them how to be a good father.
I feel like some of them had already achieved that. Like that. You'd have to do a very specific person. And
I would pick Adolf Hitler's dad how to be a good father.
Just accept his son as an artist and encourage his goals.
Yep. See, there. I just taught society something. Now we don't have a. Now we don't have a tyrant.
We did not teach society anything.
I'm sure not having Hitler become a tyrant and kill millions of people is helping society, Nate.
You're helping. I didn't say you weren't helping. I'm saying you didn't teach society anything.
I taught a person.
Helping. There's so many things you could do.
I'm sorry, the question's here. I have it written down. It says, when you went back in time and they asked you to teach them something from your time period, what would you teach them?
He asked you to teach you.
Yeah.
Be a better father.
Yep.
I feel like
he asked me to teach him something, so I taught him how to be a better father.
I feel like his father wouldn't ask you to do that.
His father would probably take out a gun and shoot me for being someone who's not like him. Actually, I'm blonde hair and blue eyes with German accent. I'm probably going to be accepted.
You're spot on what they're looking for. They'd probably make you like work out and get into peak physical condition.
And then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I have a homosexual friend. Oh, kill him!"
Yeah, and then they'd be like, almost perfect.
Now we have to murder you.
Yeah. Well, step onto my train here. We'll take it.
Let's go. Ooh, step into my chamber. Oh.
Yeah. Epic rap battles. So yeah, oh man, you're such a cop out. I went and I'm teaching society. All these things.
Great job, man.
One guy.
I'm sorry that I'm trying to prevent annihilation of an entire.
That doesn't even guarantee that.
Hey, I tried.
Mine's at least
I can go back to the future and be like, "Hey guys, I tried my best."
Mine's an actual guarantee of them learning something. Yours is just like, it's a hit or miss.
The only thing I know how to do is be a dad now. Okay, I don't have any skills. I don't have any hobbies. My hobby is what we're doing right now. I could teach them how to make a podcast. I could teach them how to make a really shitty podcast that no one listens to.
That's what I don't have anything to do, but I at least tried.
Hey guys, you want to see some really awful YouTube videos about lists? I could teach you how to do that.
I'm sure you could teach them something, buddy. Let's see here.
Sure.
Let's brainstorm this.
Oh yeah, let's see how great of a person I am to society.
Yeah, let's brainstorm your contributions.
Shut up, Nate.
I mean, okay. In all honesty, you probably could teach them how to make a wheel.
Do I know how to make a wheel?
You know a wheel shape?
It's square, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a triangle.
Just go into the future. Everything is now triangular.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob where you go to the future and everything's just made out of chrome now. Because what? Okay.
No, SpongeBob.
Okay. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought you were cool, but you don't watch SpongeBob.
Well, that was your fault. That was your fault. You and Ty watched SpongeBob, not me.
And you don't remember Squidward going future?
Nope.
Oh man. That's messed up. Like, Squidward goes back in time and teaches Patrick and SpongeBob how to jellyfish, and that's the invention of jellyfish. When he hated jellyfish.
Oh, okay. It's a weird thing to teach someone when you don't like it.
Well, he hated them. He hated jellyfishing so much. So he got thrown back into the past, and SpongeBob and Patrick's ancestors were annoying him so much. He's like, how can I get these a-holes to get away from me? So he's like, here's some sticks with some cloth on it. Go catch some jellyfish. Get away from me. And he accidentally invented jellyfishing, which he hates.
There's so many other things you could have sent them to do that you don't hate.
Welcome to SpongeBob, bro. It doesn't make sense.
That's why I don't watch it. Okay,
Are we still trying to figure out how I'm gonna contribute? No, we're done with that.
I'm trying still.
All right, Nate. You got any other things you want to talk about?
I did at the beginning of this. But then my mind got flooded with how you contribute.
All right, Nate.
So I have forgotten.
We're gonna end the podcast now. So shut up, Nate. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Nate, any final words that don't involve how I contribute to society?
Not really. Like, if you can come back into the past from the future after watching this podcast and give us some ideas, that'd be great on how we contribute. I'd appreciate that.
They come back and they comment like, "I'm from the future. Nobody watched this video." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Thank you."
We're from the future. You really, really should just be nice to yourselves.
I'm from the future. Just letting you know. I'm the only one who watched your video. This is terrible. Why do you even try?
No, so it's Ty. Okay.
No, it's time. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.